Hey everyone, it's Hugh Culver. I wanted to share with you just a really simple technique that I use all the time with clients to help them to be more effective by first of all reflecting on, well, where are they at? Now often I use this when we're reviewing the effectiveness of their meetings, but you can also use it if you want to review the effectiveness of a project that you just finished and do a bit of a debrief, or you're looking at a team effectiveness, or you can even use it to review your own personal effectiveness. So where this tool really shines is when you want to get a grip on what are we doing well, what are we doing not so well, and then lastly, well, what do we need to do that's going to be a little bit different, that's going to give us more of what we're looking for. So it's called the plus delta review. And what I really like about it is that it starts off with a celebration. And what I mean by that is we first of all look at what's working. Okay, so here's how it works. It's very simple. The first thing you want to do is you want to get your group together, probably need about 20 or 30 minutes, and introduce this idea of getting a bit of a review of, well, where are we at? Or how is this project just gone? Or how are we doing as far as our regular meetings? And you want to probably have someone who's going to facilitate this, who's going to actually work with a flip chart, who's not the chairperson. It just helps to make it a little bit more unbiased. So just get someone to volunteer to be the scribe to record what's going on. And the first thing they're going to do is they're going to ask people, well, what is working? So on the flip chart, what we do, just simply draw a line down the middle. And on the left-hand side, you identify that as plus. So this is what's working. So this is plus. So your team might say, if we're reviewing the meetings, for example, they might say, well, you know, we have the right people in the room. Okay, great. So we have the right people in the room. They get together. Tuesdays is a great day to meet. Okay, great. So Tuesdays, we need at least an hour, which is good. We're doing that. That we actually have been making some good decisions. Some of the presentations are really helpful because it helps to let other people know what other team members are working on. So it's a great way for us to share. That's great. So you get a couple of these celebrations first. And you don't want to stop until you've got all of that done. So you know what the temptation that people have is they want to start talking about the yeah buts. You know, so what can we do a little differently? How can we improve? You want to hold off on that. And you want to get a nice long list of what's working well. And then of course we move over to delta. So delta, it just simply means change. So what could be better? So rather than saying what's good, what's bad, it's just delta. What could be better? And so now you ask the group, and they might say things like, well, you know, we often start late. So it's a bit frustrating because people are drifting in 5 minutes late and 10 minutes late. And it seems to have become the norm. And you know, they might say, well, while it's great that we have an hour booked, but you know, frankly, sometimes we don't need an hour. Like sometimes we could wrap it up. There's just not that much new. So what we could do is, you know, we need to look at, well, why do we have this assumption that we have to meet for the hour? Or sometimes people are unprepared. So they're on the agenda. We were going to hear from them, but they arrive, or commitments are made, but people don't always keep their commitments. Okay, so you get a couple of these things, and it's just absolutely natural. Now, some of these are going to be so big, you won't be able to tackle them. Whereas others are going to be obvious wins. And here's the beauty of this process. You're first of all going to get people to look at how things are going. So you're going to get, the awareness is going to go up. So people are going to become more aware of their behavior because it's now being brought out to the open. So that's a bonus. The second thing is that the team is working together to create a solution. So they look at their list and they say, well, you know, certainly we can agree, I can't remember which one it was, but we agree that we should start on time. So that's an easy win. So we agree that we just need to make that the norm, and that what we're gonna do is we're gonna start on time regardless of who's here, so that people will understand that if they're late, they're going to miss part of the meeting. Secondly is that there's no reason why we have to keep going for 60 minutes if we finished in 40 minutes. So that's another easy one that we can work on. So maybe you start with those two things. And the third part of the process is really where the benefit is. And that's when you take those two items and then you say, okay, now let's talk about how to make that happen. So how do we reinforce that? How do we celebrate that? And how do we make sure that 2 months from now that this is actually working? So it's a very simple process. Step 1, what do we celebrate? Step 2, what could be better? Step 3, well, which ones are we going to actually work on? And what I usually recommend to teams is that, if you're having a regular meeting every week, it's an enormous investment. If you look at the actual dollar cost of having those people in the room, let alone the cost of not being able to do their other work, it's pretty expensive. And so one small improvement to the effectiveness of the meeting is going to have huge rewards over time. So this is really a great investment. The other thing to look at is the benefit of just getting people to start being more aware. So let's say you're doing a team debrief or a project debrief. Well, that's going to have enormous payoffs the next time that you tackle a new project or you bring someone new into the team. So it's very simple. It's called the Plus Delta Review. 20, maybe 30 minutes to actually get it done. It could be a part of a regular meeting. It's a very healthy process to go through, and the beauty is that you can really do it on your own. You just need to get some buy-in, let people know this is going to be valuable, and here's the neat thing is that it never fails. It never fails because people want good stuff to happen. So you're going to get a great list on the right-hand side here. You're always going to get great suggestions. So I hope you take that on. I hope that's useful for you. Let me know if that works for you. Just send me a little comment on this blog and yeah, keep on sharing. All the best. Okay, thanks.